There is something standing in my hallway. Or someone. No, something. I woke up just now in the middle of the night with a throat so dry I could hardly inhale without wincing. I debated with my exhausted brain whether it was worth it to leave bed for a glass of water. I won the futile debate, but I wish I hadn't. I wish I had just closed my eyes and dozed off right back to sleep. My bedroom is at the end of a hallway that banks left into the kitchen. Normally, I can wake in the middle of the night, flip the hall light on, drag my body to the kitchen and be back before my eyes adjust to the light. This time though, I only reached my bedroom door when I suddenly felt wide awake. Before even lifting my hands to the doorknob, I was overcome with the deepest sense of dread I had ever felt up to this point in my life. My stomach had tied itself into a knot that only felt tighter and tighter with each second that I stood there, my hand refusing to move to the door. I realized at this point that I had been standing there with my lungs full, scared of a hallway I had entered countless of times before. I exhaled, and with it came a loud laugh. What was I doing? I rationalized that I must have been having a nightmare before I woke up, and that explains why my mind is a little on edge. I laughed at myself again and reached for the doorknob. The dread hit me again, twice as hard, but I brushed it off. I swung the door open and flicked on the hall light switch. Then I saw it, just briefly before I slammed my door shut and dove back into my bed. I saw something. It was legs. That's it. I saw a pair of bare legs standing on the other side of the hallway, and they reached up all the way past the top of the frame. What the fuck? That can't be right. My ceiling isn't that tall. But that's what I saw. I want to go back and confirm, but I wanted to get this written down first, just in case of... In case of what? I don't fucking know. It's been about 20 minutes now, so I'm going to set my phone down and check on the hallway. I'm going to feel really silly if it was just a weird shadow or something. If so, I'll probably just delete all this and drown in my own embarrassment. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck, guys? My hands are shaking so bad I can barely hold my phone, but I need to write down what just happened. I saw its fucking face. At least I think it was a face. I don't know. Fuck. The light was still on, so I just cracked the door open enough to see out. I thought I was going to throw up right there when I saw the legs still at the end of the hallway. I felt grateful at least that they hadn't moved closer or something. I took a deep breath and bravely scanned the legs with my eyes, hoping to find something, anything that made sense. My vision panned to the top of the hallway. It wasn't there before. But this thing had a fucking head, and now it was hanging down from behind the threshold. As if I didn't know already, this thing wasn't human. Its eyes were barely eyes, just two tiny black dots positioned too far apart, right where the eyes should be. There was no nose below that, but there was a mouth. The fucking mouth was the worst part. Its jaw was stuck open in the most unhumane way, wide enough to fit another head in and full of jagged, yellow teeth. I didn't look for long, but it didn't even look like there was anything inside. No tongue or throat, just blackness. Hair hung down from its scalp in patchy, white-grey mats. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the way it was standing. It didn't make any sense, but I'll try my best to describe it. The legs are standing straight, facing towards my door, but the head was hanging straight down, upside down, but still facing me. I don't want to imagine what it must look like behind the wall. I can only picture a long body, twisted in some horrific way. I'm trying to ignore this, but as I'm typing, I swear I keep hearing it call my name. I can't believe such a soft, soothing voice could be coming from that creature. It feels like it's speaking directly to my psyche. I'm so tired. I just want to sleep. And fuck, I'm so thirsty. I still haven't gotten any water. I know that should be the last thing on my mind right now, but all I can feel is how dry my throat is. I just need water so fucking bad. It's getting more painful to breathe. And I need this fucking voice to get out of my head. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just in my head. Maybe I can go check the hallway just one more time. Something happened last night that I can't get off my mind. I've run through the events in my head over and over again, but I can't make it make sense. I am hoping that writing it out may bring some clarity that I can't get just by thinking on it. For some background, I live in a decently sized 2-story home with my mum and older brother. We have an office with a computer downstairs, and I frequently stay up late, goofing off on the internet, until my body tells me it's time to go to bed. Last night, it was around 2 a.m. when I finally decided to call it and head to my room. I shut everything down and made my way to the stairs, making sure to turn off all of the lights behind me as I went. When I reached the beginning of the stairs, I realized it was too dark to see up them, and my phone was in my bedroom on the second floor. I briefly considered the effort of going back and turning the lights on again, but my tired brain was ready for bed, and I decided to just make my way up the stairs in the darkness. It's a basic staircase that I had gone up and down thousands of times before. First, you head up a few steps, turn on a landing halfway up, traverse the remaining few steps, and at the top, you're only a couple of footfalls from my bedroom door. Like I said, simple. It was basically muscle memory at this point. I took the first set of steps up to the landing, keeping my hand on the railing to navigate my way through the inky black darkness. Once on the landing, I took the same turn I always do and began stepping up the second set of steps. If I had to guess, I would say that normally from this point, it is only about 5 to 7 more seconds until I've reached my bedroom. Tonight, however, I had gotten lost in my own thoughts and did not realize at first that I had spent much longer walking up the stairs. I'd guessed that probably a full minute passed before I realized I had been walking for too long. I gripped the handrail tighter and tried to make sense of my surroundings, but the surrounding area was too dark. I felt a sickness in my stomach immediately. I tried desperately to squint through the darkness to no avail. I rationalized with myself that as long as I followed the railing, I would have to make it to the top of the stairs eventually. I took a deep breath and put one foot up and in front of the other. I did this several times, making sure to cling to the railing on one side and run my hand along the wall on the other. I can't describe the deep-seated sense of dread and wrongness I felt further up the stairs that I got. I should have been at the top by then. I considered screaming for help, but I couldn't shake the thought that I was just exhausted and not thinking straight. I didn't know how I'd explain myself if my mum woke up and came running to help me. I had the idea then to count. I'd count each step as I took it, and then this would finally make sense. So I counted, but it never made any more sense. I took it slow and stopped counting past 80. I must have been walking up the stairs for 10 minutes or more. I spent the whole time considering what I should do, but the only thing I could do was make my way up each step. I didn't dare turn around and risk getting even more lost. I was getting nowhere, just endlessly walking upwards. I stopped on a step and took a moment to collect myself. As I stood still, my skin began to crawl. A lump formed in my throat that dared to turn me into a sobbing mess if I didn't continue walking. I felt terrified and ridiculous at the same time. I was at a complete loss for what to do. I felt like a child who got separated from their parent at a department store. Then, the stairway was suddenly filled with light. I was stood in the dead center of the second set of stairs, feeling an intense mixture of confusion and relief like I had never felt before up to this point in my life. I peered up the stairs to see my brother at the top, looking down at me. He looked almost as confused as I felt, blinking sleepily at me from a few feet away. My brother spoke first. "I've been hearing footsteps on the stairs for the past several minutes. What are you doing?" I opened my mouth to speak, but I didn't know what to say. I slept with the lights on last night. I'm scared to turn them off until I can understand what happened to me. If my brother hadn't turned on the stairway light, I'm not sure that I'd be here, writing this story. Hey guys, I have an honest-to-goodness question for you all. Can cars become haunted? I've seen some really weird stuff in my car. This isn't a scary story, for the record. This is 100% for real. And it has been happening for the past couple of years. I drive a 10-year-old red Toyota Corolla. A bitch in colour if I do say so myself. I'm its second owner. The first owners being my parents. I bought it off of them last year when they retire and decided to ditch their house and car in favour of their truck and trailer. Point being, this isn't some used, refurbished car I got off of Craigslist after it killed a bunch of innocent kids in a horrific traffic incident. I mean, it has had a few bumps and bruises along the way. My sister once told us that car insurance companies charge higher rates for red cars because they tend to be involved in traffic accidents more often. For the record, this is not true. The colour of your car does not affect insurance rates. Despite the fact that my sister's claim was wrong, I can't deny that the car has gotten in a lot of minor accidents compared to the other cars my parents drove over the years. Accident, bump, scrape count on all other cars combined over the course of about 20 years, 0. Accident, bump, scrape count on the Corolla, about 5. It would be easy to blame the accidents on the fact that the Corolla was driven by two new drivers, my sister and I, as well as my parents. But my sister never hit anything, and I only scratched it once. I felt absolutely awful about it though. It was one of my first times taking it out, and I was backing out of a grocery store parking lot. My bumper scraped another car's bumper, just enough for a little dirt to transfer from one car to the other. I freaked out and waited for the car's drivers. They just laughed and thanked me for waiting and left without taking down my information. It was so small and insignificant, but to this day, I park at the very far end of parking lots and walk the rest of the way. Every other incident occurred while one of my parents was behind the wheel. Mum once backed up into a cement post. My dad got rear-ended by a truck and ended up hitting one of those trailer balls on the car in front of him. There's still a hole-shaped mark in our front bumper. Makes it easy to spot my car. And at some point, someone crashed into the side of the vehicle. There are also unexplained scratches on the car, like someone trying to key it, but not using an instrument sharp enough to do the trick. No injuries, no deaths. Definitely nothing that qualifies as a reason for the car to be haunted. I remember one day my dad, sister and I were driving to the library. I saw an old man get on the road as we were passing by. My eyes widened and my heart came to a halt when I realized my father was not stopping the car. I nearly shouted, fully expecting to hear a thud at any moment. Nothing happened. I looked back, but there was no one on the street. "Didn't you see that guy?" I asked my father and sister. Neither of them had a clue what I was talking about. Ghost pedestrian? Who the fuck knows? What really spooks me is what I've been seeing in the car since then. Back in our old house, the kitchen overlooked a living room with large bay windows, pointed straight out the driveway. Every now and then I'd turn around and see someone's figure in the driver's seat. I'm not talking about a creepy shadow in the night either. I mean, I was doing the dishes after making lunch and there'll be a silhouette in there. It didn't disappear when I blinked. I'd usually get distracted for a moment and look again, only to find the car was empty. This happened all the time, at least twice a month. One night I was driving back home and looked in the rearview mirror. You know in those horror movies when you see a figure in the mirror? Holy shit, it happened. I very, very clearly saw a man sitting in the back seat. I turned my head, but of course there was nothing there. I recently moved, and the car cannot be seen from any of my windows. I see the car when I get out the bus and when I take out the trash. When I do, oftentimes I'll see a figure in there. Heck, just last week I went to the grocery store, and on my way back to the car, I got this weird feeling. I looked up and there was someone in the driver's seat. It doesn't matter what angle the car's in either. I've seen the silhouette straight on, from the back and from the side. So what do you think? Can cars become haunted? Is my car haunted? How the heck does a car even get haunted? Update. November 15th, 2014. I spotted a footprint facing my car in a patch of snow outside this morning. I know it's not mine. I only take the car out on weekends to run errands. Haven't been near it since last Saturday. Maybe one of the neighbors got nosy. Hey guys, I have an honest